to this smart 4-year-old from Western Australia. An up-and-coming horse, All a Dream, very lightly raced before coming here for the series. He'd won 4 of his last 5 races in Western Australia since being taken over by Trevor Warwick. He showed brilliant speed out of the mobile to hold out Rolliella. There's Warwick getting busy in the run home. They never really looked like catching him. Charging home, wide out, the second runner from the outside, the Cornishman, and he's gone up to run second for Lance Justice, and it's pretty close for third. But that is a very impressive win by All a Dream, who firmed right in the betting. The Cornishman gets second, and I think in the gold colours on the outside, Jane Ellen will possibly get third. Kylie's Hero was buried in behind the leader and obscured from our view there, would be close up in 4th position.
A courageous win by number 4, All a Dream, driven by Trevor Warwick, and starting at 35 to 10. Second, number 3, the Cornishman, at 50 to 1, big odds there. And third, number 8, Jane Ellen, at 35 to 10. The unplaced favourite, number 2, Kylie's Hero, at 25 to 10. And the points table after the second round of heats. On top is We Own a Chief on 20 points, a point ahead of Whitby Timer, Jane Ellen, and All a Dream on 19 points. Interesting runner on 18 points, Gaelic Skipper, after his big win tonight. On 15 points, Thorate and Reba Lord, and over the page on 14, Whitby Heritage, and on 13 points, another New Zealander, Kylie's Hero. Well, it's been a fabulous night racing here at Globe Derby Park. Join us again on Saturday night for the third round of heats. Until then, good night.
Seek him here.
On the inside, Butcher's Mate can't get a run around the outside. Rufus Youngblood. Right off the track is Gaelic Skipper, and tracking in through Whitby Timer. But Westburn Grant goes for a sprint with 100 metres left to run. Flashing home is Gaelic Skipper. He's cutting Westburn Grant down. It's going to be close, and Gaelic Skipper is too good. Gaelic Skipper runs away, wins by a length and a half, Westburn Grant.
The sensational win by New Zealander Gaelic Skipper in Heat 5 on Wednesday night. Hello and welcome to Globe Derby Park and the final night of heats in the 49th Interdominion Pacing Championship. And for many horses, the last chance to qualify for the grand final next Saturday night. But before we look at the all-important points table, let's just reflect on some of the other heats on Wednesday night. In Heat 4, the favourite Rockley Victory led, only to be run down by the 4-year-old We Own a Chief from New South Wales.
We Own a Chief down the outside is responding to the whip. Rockley Victory just the leader. We Own a Chief getting to it. We Own a Chief hits the front and beats Rockley Victory a neck, a length and a half. Reba Lord.
In Heat 6, West Australian All a Dream showed great courage to hold out the Cornishman.
All a Dream in the straight with 150 metres to run. Under the whip, quite famous. Kylie's Hero getting an inside run, and down the outside, Jane Ellen. All a Dream responding to the whip, close to home. Jane Ellen flashing home with the Cornishman, but All a Dream wins it. The Cornishman got up to run second, possibly third on the outside.
And now look at the points table. We Own a Chief from the Hancock stable on top with 20 points. A point ahead of Whitby Timer, Jane Ellen and All a Dream. Rockley Victory, Westburn Grant and Gaelic Skipper all on 18 points. And the other horses looking to qualify for the grand final on Saturday night. 14 points Whitby Heritage and 13 Kylie's Hero. Now to Heat 7 over 2,645 metres. And some of the fancy runners on the front row. Number 1, Earth Station. 3, We Own a Chief, the points leader. 4, Whitby Timer from Western Australia. And a driving change for number 5, Trunky Sting, to be driven by Fred Kersley, replacing Chris Lewis. And over the page, number 7, Jane Ellen pacing from inside the second row. And number 9, Bolt Sharvard, to be driven by Morris McKendry, replacing James Storman. Your commentator is George Grilicic.
Now the mobile moving off with the 7th heat over 2,645 metres. And this will be the distance of the final next week. And all runners are up on the gate. The outside runner on the front is our Maestro. They're about to go, just over 3 laps to run the blue light and getting away quickly. Whitby Timer, he's looking for the front and will cross Earth Station. Our Maestro's trapped very wide. We own a Chief has caught 3 wide, 2 going out of the straight. In behind them, Jane Ellen on the fence, followed by Quite Famous. And further back behind them, Bolshard at second last, and dropping out the last is Trunky Sting. They go into the back straight the first time, and it's Whitby Timer, the leader. Whitby Timer by a length and a half from Earth Station. And moving up, leading the outside horses, Butcher's Mate. We own a Chief, still 3 wide, and Hancock caught in a trap. He's going forward now. A length and a half back behind him, Jane Ellen. Then a head back on the outside, Quite Famous. 1.5 lengths, Bolshard. A neck back on the inside, Trunky Sting. And our Maestro's dropped out by 3 or 4 lengths now as they race off the back straight. Whitby Timer getting an easy run. Moving up around the outside, Quite Famous now to take it on. We own a Chief now gets the trail. It's racing on the outside of Earth Station. Then a length and a half, Butcher's Mate, 1 wide and 3/4 to Jane Ellen back on the fence, followed by Bolshard from New Zealand. A length off Trunky Sting on the rail and 2 lengths further back behind him, our Maestro. They come down to the judges' box with just over a lap covered and 2 laps to run. And it's Whitby Timer being held together. Leads by 3/4 of a length on Quite Famous with a length back on the inside Earth Station. Then 3/4 of a length on the outside to We Own a Chief. Jane Ellen back on the fence. They were followed on the outside by Butcher's Mate from Trunky Sting, and then a length and a half further back, Bolshard, and still 2 lengths further back, our Maestro, about 25 metres from the leader. They go down the back straight now, and they've got about 2,200 metres left to run. And the leader is Whitby Timer from Quite Famous, which has joined it. A length and a half on the inside Earth Station. We Own a Chief next on the outside, paced a bit roughly there. On the inside is Jane Ellen. They were followed by Butcher's Mate. Trunky Sting is still back on the rail, 3rd last, with 3/4 of a length. Bolshard travelling well. And here's a move from the back of the field. Our Maestro's taking off now just before the bell. They come around the home turn, just under 1,100 metres left to run. And it's still Whitby Timer from Quite Famous, the outside. Back on the fence, Earth Station, 3 wide. Our Maestro's gone round. We Own a Chief. Jane Ellen's in a bad pocket on the rail as they get the bell. Then Butcher's Mate. Trunky Sting second last on the rail. And a length off behind them, Bolshard. Into the final lap they run, and it's Whitby Timer going strongly. Leads by half a length on Quite Famous. Earth Station back on the fence. Our Maestro 3 wide on the outside there. Off We Own a Chief, the favourite. They were followed by Butcher's Mate, Trunky Sting, and Bolshard from New Zealand's been taken to the outside. In the back straight, 600 metres to run. Whitby Timer given more rain, slips away by a length and a half on Quite Famous. Earth Station getting a run through on the inside. We Own a Chief, hook 3 wide. The pressure's on. Jane Ellen goes up on the fence into a pocket, and Bolshard's right off the track. 400 metres to run. Whitby Timer in front by just over a length. We Own a Chief knuckling down to the task. A length back Earth Station, and then running into the picture, Jane Ellen coming with a well-timed run. 3 lengths back, Butcher's Mate, Trunky Sting. Bolshard can't go on. Quite Famous has dropped out. Whitby Timer almost joined by We Own a Chief. Earth Station under the web, Jane Ellen flashing home. We Own a Chief and Whitby Timer battling it out. Whitby Timer and We Own a Chief and Earth Station on the inside. But Whitby Timer wins it. Wins by half a length. Earth Station possibly second in front of We Own a Chief. 2 lengths Jane Ellen, then a couple of lengths further back, Butcher's Mate, Trunky Sting. A length and a half, Bolshard, and 40 metres back behind them, Quite Famous, and just going past the post is our Maestro. Whitby Timer giving a dogged exhibition over the 2,645 metre journey, and outstaying We Own a Chief, who looked to possibly have a smasher on the home turn. And the horse getting the run on the inside is Earth Station, driven by Trevor Warwick. In the gold colours on the outside, Jane Ellen didn't come on, and Whitby Timer scoring by half a length. And he will now challenge Westburn Grant for outright favouritism for the grand final. A marvellous performance by the West Australian 4-year-old driven by Rod Chambers.
A gutsy win by number 4, Whitby Timer, driven by Rod Chambers, and starting at 18 to 10 in favourite. Second, number 3, We Own a Chief at 2 to 1, and third, number 1, Earth Station at 25 to 1. And looking at heat number 8 and some of the main chances on the front row, number 2, Whitby Heritage from Western Australia, and she'll need to run well tonight to have any chance of making the grand final. On the second row, number 7, Rockley Victory from the Bob Knight stable, and number 10, Rivoli Jack, a driving change there. Jeffrey Webster replacing Brian Gaff.
And now they're moving up for the 8th heat of the Interdominion, 2,645 metres. Rolliella, the outside runner on the front. Another Bart moving up in 5. And Bronski beat closer down to the fence. Rivoli Jack broke up. He's about 25 metres behind them. Blue Light, they're off and racing. Getting away very quickly from the outside. Rolliella with Bronski beat. Bronski Beat has the speed to hold out. Rolliella past the judge's box the first time. Whitby Heritage third, then Screaming Eagle the rail. They were followed by Empire Fella, 3 wide on the outside of Kylie's Hero. Then about 2 lengths further back, Westburn Grant. Rockley Victory back on the fence, followed on the outside, a length away by another Bart. And 2 lengths further back behind them, Rivoli Jack. Going into the back straight, and it's Rolliella, pulling hard, leads out by a length and a half. From in second spot, down on the inside, Bronski Beat. Empire Fella gets up into third position, challenging for second, a length and a half, Whitby Heritage with the run of the race. 3/4 of a length, Screaming Eagle on the inside. A length off Kylie's Hero in a beautiful position, and 1 3/4 lengths back behind them, Westburn Grant. They were followed 2 lengths back by another Bart racing on the outside. Rockley Victory's going 3 wide from the back of the field. He's flushed out Westburn Grant. Frost trying to go with him now. They've locked wheels, those 2 horses, momentarily. And Rivoli Jack is last. There was a bad scrimmage there. Rockley Victory has caught 4 wide as they come into the straight, and Kylie's Hero's taken off. The New Zealander challenging Rolliella for the front, and Kylie's Hero gets the lead. Rockley Victory gets up in the second spot. Rolliella now third on the rail as they pass the judge with 2 laps to go. 1 out and 1 back, Empire Fella. It's been a rough race. On the inside, Bronski Beat, then Whitby Heritage, followed by Screaming Eagle. Westburn Grant is third last now. Rivoli Jack is second last on the inside, and a length off back behind them is another Bart. They go into the back straight now, and they've got about 1,500 metres to run, and it's Kylie's Hero, the leader. And it's going very well indeed for McHenry. Leads by a length and a half, Rockley Victory, and a head back on the inside, Rolliella. The next one, Empire Fella on the outside of Bronski Beat. Then Whitby Heritage midfield on the outside, travelling well. Screaming Eagle is next on the rail. A length off Westburn Grant. 1 1/2 lengths, another Bart. And a head back on the inside is Rivoli Jack. They sweep off the back straight now, and the leader still Kylie's Hero. And it'll be suited by the journey too. It leads by a length. Rockley Victory second on the outside. 3/4 of a length to Rolliella. Empire Fella fourth on the outside. No change in order at the moment. Bronski Beat back on the inside. The Whitby Heritage waiting for the last one. Screaming Eagle the rail. Westburn Grant is going to come late in this race. A length and a half back. Rivoli Jack the inside. Another Bart is last as they get the bill. The first quarter, the last mile, 32.7. So Kylie's Hero's getting it easy in front. Leads 3/4 of a length. Rockley Victory. Rolliella third in the pocket behind the leader. Empire Fella fourth on the outside. Bronski Beat on the rail. They were followed on the outside by Whitby Heritage. Then 3/4 of a length, Screaming Eagle. Westburn Grant's got the job ahead of him. A length further back, Rivoli Jack, and another Bart is last. In the back straight, they sprint hard with 500 metres to go. The second quarter in 32.7. It's been a slow race, and Kylie's Hero sprints hard. Kylie's Hero leads by 3/4 of a length. Rockley Victory. Rolliella is third back on the inside, then Empire Fella. They were followed by Bronski Beat, then Whitby Heritage, and he's yet to go on Westburn Grant, but he hooks wide now. Westburn Grant puts in a big run, but giving the leader 15 or 20 metres. Around the turn they come. Kylie's Hero from Rockley Victory. Rolliella third on the inside. Whitby Heritage off the track, and Westburn Grant on the extreme outside. Westburn Grant is storming home, but Kylie's Hero's the leader. Whitby Heritage flashing home. Westburn Grant won't make it, but Kylie's Hero's too good. Wins by a length. Whitby Heritage close for third between Rolliella on the inside, Westburn Grant the outside, then Rockley Victory. Then close up another Bart, followed by Empire Fella. Wide out Rivoli Jack. They were followed by Bronski Beat, and the last one home is Screaming Eagle. The New Zealander, Kylie's Hero, outstaying the opposition. McHenry drove a brilliant race. When Rockley Victory and Westburn Grant came from the back, he hooked out with Kylie's Hero, took the lead, and just using the reins and the run to the judge, and Kylie's Hero has easily held them at bay. Whitby Heritage has run a game race. It'll get into the grand final now, and it's very close for third. Westburn Grant on the outside, problematical whether it's got up to run third, but never looked likely to catch them in the home straight. All the honours with the tough New Zealander Kylie's Hero, which ran third in last year's grand final in Perth.
A brilliant drive by Maurice McHenry. First, number 8, Kylie's Hero, starting at 4-1. Second, 2, Whitby Heritage at 8-1. And third, number 9, Westburn Grant, getting very costly for punters, 10-9 on and favourite. And another feature of the Interdominion series is the Trotters Grand Final. We pick up the action on the final lap, and the horses to look out for: number 2, Artius, 10 Table Card, and 11 True Roman.
In the straight now, they get the bell in the Trotters Championship, and True Roman being held together by Gavin Lang. 1 lap to run, and it leads by a length and a half. Lord Alia second on the outside. A neck back on the fence, Table Card. They were followed by Highly Likely on the inside, then Cherokee Kid. West Ham has taken 3 wide, trying to make a run. Sneaking up on the inside is Artius, about 4 lengths further back behind him. Joseph Boppard, Glenfield Girl dropping out of it. And the last one is Barrow Mac. in the back straight. 600 metres to run, and it's True Roman, the veteran, giving a bold exhibition. It's 2 lengths in front of Table Card, 3/4 of a length on the outside. Lord Alias, West Ham making ground 3 wide. Highly likely back on the fence, can't get out of the pocket. The length and a half further back behind him is Artius. Off the back, 350 left to go. True Roman's put 3 lengths in them. Table Card is second. West Ham still battling on out wide. And back on the inside, highly likely can't get a run. Lord Alias is still battling on. True Roman the leader with 200 to go. Table Card coming off the fence now, about to issue a challenge. Lord Alias next to wide out. Artius out of the whip and highly likely sneaking up on the inside. True Roman in front by a length and a half. Table Card on the outside. Flashing home as Artius, but True Roman will win it. True Roman wins by half a length, very close for second and third. Between Table Card and the centre, Artius out wide, highly likely fourth. Then a few lengths back, Lord Alias, followed further back by West Ham. A break in the field to Cherokee Kid, followed by Joseph Boppard. Second last is Barramack, and Glenfield Girl is the last one home. A magnificent performance by the veteran True Roman, who went to the front after about 500 metres after an early scrimmage, confidently driven by Gavin Lang, and Lang had to produce the whip in the closing stages, and True Roman has battled on. In the middle is Table Card. A wide out Artius was coming home best of anything. Highly likely was trapped behind the leader for Ted Demler, but True Roman found the line and was able to hang on and win by half a length, and it's very close for second and third. A magnificent trotter, and this tops off his career, a win here in the South Australian Trotters Championship Grand Final.
The champion home, number 11, True Roman, starting at 7 to 10 in favourite and beautifully driven by Gavin Lang. Second, number 2, Artius at 20 to 1, and third, number 10, Table Card, starting at 10 to 1. Now to heat 9, the final heat of the Interdominion series, and some of the main chances on the front row. Number 2, Gaelic Skipper, a brilliant winner of his heat on Wednesday night, and 2 interesting runners, number 6, Thorate from the Hancock stable, and 7, Reba Lord, drawn the inside of the back row, both on 15 points, and both will have to run well to make the final on Saturday night.
Almeida boys galloped in the score up. Thorate and Reba Lord both on 15 points in this division. They need to run right up near the front to get into the final. Oh, one galloped on the inside, National Image, but it's a start. Reba Lord got a bad check. He didn't gallop much. All a Dream also was slightly checked. The Almeida boys settled down 60 metres behind them. Thorate has flown out of the barrier looking for the lead. The Cornishman's under the whip in the middle trying to keep it out. Now Victory's Phil is accelerating on the inside. But Hancock, in a desperate manoeuvre shortly after the start, has been able to get Thorate to the front from the extreme outside draw. Thorate leads by a length and a half. Victory's Phil second. 2.5 lengths back behind him, the Cornishman. The early pace was very fast. 2 lengths back, Rufus Youngblood. Then about 3 lengths, National Image. 2 lengths to Gaelic Skipper. A length and a half further back, All a Dream. And 2 lengths to Reba Lord, which is last of the main bunch. And there's about 50 metres back behind her to Almeida Boy. They're an Indian file, and Thorate is steadied by Hancock now. Leads by a length and 3/4, Victory Phil, and a length and a half the Cornishman. The same margin further back to Rufus Youngblood, with a length and a half back behind him, National Image. Gaelic Skipper is next, about to come off the rail, I feel. Then All a Dream, followed by Reba Lord. And tacking onto the back of the field is Almeida Boy, and will he come around him? Vin Knight, he's one wide, and he's going to make a run up round the outside. They're walking in front. Thorate comes to the judges' box now with 2 laps to run, and Hancock has got a lap full of horse. Leads by a length and a half. Victory's Phil, and a length and a half further back the Cornishman. Then Rufus Youngblood on the rails running fourth. Now moving off the rail, National Image, and immediately onto his back is the New Zealander, Gaelic Skipper. A length and a half to All a Dream. Same margin back, Reba Lord. Now Almeida Boy starts to put in the big strides round the outside, but he lost about 50 or 60 metres at the start. Down the back they go, and it's Thorate the leader by a length and 3/4, Victory's Phil. And they were followed in expedition then by Almeida Boy, which is sweeping up around the outside of the Cornishman, which is off the rails. Back on the inside, Rufus Youngblood. Reba Lord's gone up 3 wide round him now. And further back, National Image. This is relegated Gaelic Skipper to second last, and a length and a half to All a Dream. They swing it around the home turn now with 1,100 metres left to go. The first quarter of the last mile in 32.4, which is not exceptionally fast, and Thorate the leader. Reba Lord has come around the outside and gone up into second position as they get the bell. And a length back on the inside, Victory's Phil. Almeida Boy one out and one back as they come to the judges' box. Then Rufus Youngblood on the inside of the Cornishman. A length and a half, National Image. Gaelic Skipper is second last, and a length and a half to All a Dream. They sweep over towards the back straight now, and it's still Thor 8 dictating the turns, leading 3/4 of a length on Reba Lord. The New Zealander is the world record holder for 2,600 metres, so he should stay out the journey. The second quarter, the last mile, 30.6. Reba Lord trying to put pressure on Thor 8. Running third on the outside, Almeida Boy. Victory still can't get a run. Then the Cornishman out 3 wide, starting to finish on doggedly. Rufus Youngblood gets off the rails, but runs into a pocket in the middle, followed by National Image, All a Dream. And Gaelic Skipper is last. Off the back now, and approaching the 300-metre mark. It's Thor 8 in front from Reba Lord by a long neck. Almeida Boys hooking out 3 wide, still running on. Victory still now in the middle. All a Dreamer sneaking up along the inside, right off the track, Rufus Youngblood. And also coming down the outside is Gaelic Skipper in the home straight. It's Thor 8 the leader with 100 metres to run. All a Dream trying to get through near the inside, finishing fast, Rufus Youngblood. But Thor 8 wins it, Thor 8 wins it. Gaelic Skipper got home on the outside to run second. Close to third between Rufus Youngblood and All a Dream, which was hampered for room. Then Reba Lord. They were followed by Almeida Boy, Victory's Phil. Over on the outside, National Image, and the last one home is the Cornishman. And so Thor 8, splendidly driven by Brian Hancock, who was beaten earlier in the night on Weona Chief, was able to guide Thor 8 to victory after going to the front from the extreme outside barrier. And look at Gaelic Skipper on the outside. He's come from last and he's flashed up. That was a brilliant run by the New Zealander, Gaelic Skipper. But Thor 8 had too much in hand after the moderate pace in the middle stages, but Gaelic Skipper would have won in another 5 or 6 metres.
Number 6, Thor 8, racing his way into the grand final, starting at 6-1 and superbly driven by Brian Hancock. Second 2, Gaelic Skipper at 32-10, and third number 5, Rufus Youngblood at 60-1. Reba Lord, the unplaced favourite, at 28-10. Now to the final points tally, which of course shows us the 10 grand finalists. And on top of the points tally, on 30 points, Whitby Timer. On 29, Weona Chief from New South Wales, and Gaelic Skipper from New Zealand on 27 points. 4 horses on 26. All a Dream, Jane Ellen, Thor 8 and Westburn Grant. On 24 points, Kylie's Hero and Rockley Victory. And on 23 points, Whitby Heritage. 21 points, Reba Lord becomes the first emergency. And it looks a very even grand final on paper. I trust you've enjoyed the final round of heats here at Globe Derby Park. Join us again next Saturday night for a live coverage in all states except the Northern Territory and South Australia. Until then, bye for now.
A startling look at our...
Black Irish under the whip, 3 wide and back behind them. Thor Bell and out wide is Almana. Into the straight, 200 to run. Gamelite in front from Bundamoon. Thor Bell looking for the split. Black Irish can't win them. Then Almana. Gamelite under the whip for the Bell. 80 metres to run, holding them at bay. And Gamelite has won successive Interdominions. Wins by a length on Thor Bell with 3/4 of a length of Bundamoon.
The record-breaking win of the champion Gamelite at Globe Derby Park in the grand final of 1984. And Gamelite joined Hondo Grattan as only the second horse ever to win consecutive Interdominion championships. And the magnificent view of Globe Derby Park in the 1990s, perfect conditions and a great crowd in attendance, electric atmosphere trackside. Hello, I'm David Bashir, welcoming viewers right around Australia and our friends in New Zealand to this year's coverage of the Interdominion Grand Final. And before we go to the betting ring to check out the betting situation with Mark Aston, let's have a look at the 10 grand finalists in profile. Number 1, All a Dream, is the big improver of the series. The 4-year-old from Perth has accumulated much of his $86,000 in stakes money in the past 2 months, and trainer driver Trevor Warwick hopes to take up a forward position from barrier 1. The first of the Brian Hancock horses is the highly fancied Weona Chief. The gelding was written off 12 months ago as a no-hoper, but has shot into calculations by finishing second on the points table. Last Wednesday night in Heat 4, We Own a Chief worked hard in the run, but was still too strong in the home straight.
Right off the track, Reba Lord's running on nicely, but Rockley Victory shot away 2 lengths. We Own a Chief down the outside is responding to the whip. Rockley Victory just the leader. We Own a Chief getting to it. We Own a Chief hits the front and beats Rockley Victory a neck, a length and a half. Reba Lord.
Another trainer with 2 runners in the grand final is Rod Chambers from Western Australia. The first of his horses is number 3 Whitby Heritage, and the mare is not without a chance from barrier 3. Number 5 Jane Ellen could give trainer Bob Knight a record 3rd straight Interdominion. The mare was a brilliant all-the-way winner on the opening night, but there is a concern over the horse running out the grand final journey. With 2 wins and a 3rd in the round of heats, number 6 Whitby Timer finished on top of the points table. The 4-year-old has an impressive record from 35 race starts, and in Heat 7 last Saturday night showed great courage to hold out We Own a Chief.
White Famous has dropped out. Whitby Timer almost joined by We Own a Chief. Third station under the web, Jane Ellen flashing home. We Own a Chief and Whitby Timer battling it out. Whitby Timer and We Own a Chief in third station on the inside, but Whitby Timer wins it. Wins by half a length, third station, possibly second in front of We Own a Chief.
Gaelic Skipper has been the glamour horse of the Interdominion. The 8-year-old, who was at 200 to 1 before the series started, has an electrifying finishing burst, as seen in Heat 5 when he came from well back on the home turn.
On the inside, Butcher's Mate can't get a run. Around the outside, Rufus Youngblood. And right off the track is Gaelic Skipper and tracking in through Whitby Timer. But Westburn Grant goes for a sprint with 100 metres left to run. Flashing home is Gaelic Skipper. He's cutting Westburn Grant down. It's going to be close, and Gaelic Skipper is too good. Gaelic Skipper runs away, wins by a length and a half, Westburn Grant.
Champion driver Vin Knight is hoping to win his first ever grand final on number 9 Rockley Victory. The tough 4-year-old has notched up over $300,000 from only 27 starts. With Knight's major concern, the horse's draw from the back row. Kylie's Hero is one of 2 New Zealand horses in the race, a place-getter in last year's grand final. The 7-year-old is a tough old stayer and has improved throughout the series. Number 11 Thorate is the fastest ever race winner in Australia. The ex-Tasmanian is the second of the Hancock starters, and if the pace is on, Thorate may come home hard. One-time favourite of the Interdominion, Westburn Grant, is the fallen star of the series, having not won a heat. Many scribes still consider him the best horse in the race, but from the back row draw, Vic Frost will need luck in running. The 10 grand final runners in profile, and the race looks a very open one on face value. Well, it's been a fabulous betting series so far, and we'll look at the betting situation. A man who's no stranger to the betting ring, here's Mark Aston.
Yes, thank you, David. The atmosphere down here in the betting ring is really quite extraordinary as punters clamour and are desperate to try and get their bets on for what is Australia's pacing premier event, the 1990 Interdominion Grand Final. Joining us is leading South Australian bookmaker Jim Easton. Jim, quite an even field.
Very even field, Mark. In fact, you struggle to find more than 10 chances.
OK, let's have a look at them in detail. All a Dream at 10 to 1.
Yes, I don't really like him. I think he may be headed off.
We Own a Chief at 4 to 1.
He's also going to get back into the field, but a good chance.
Whitby Heritage 16, and I understand a bit of support for him.
Yes, there's been plenty of support for this horse tonight.
Jane Ellen at 12s.
The likely leader just doesn't seem to be going at its best, but that stable, their horses always go at their best in big races.
Whitby Timer 35 to 10.
I'm sure the best horse in the race, just where he's going to land, how much work he's going to have to do.
Gaelic Skipper at 7s, big win, 2 starts.
Very big win. I am worried about the barrier 6 for him, though. I don't think it suits him at all.
Rockley Victory at 8's the Victorian.
It's my pick, but he's going to need a bit of luck. He's going to need the field to open up and let him through.
Kylie's Hero 14s.
Quite well supported also. The money's come in from out of the country.
Thorate 12s.
I think he's in bother from back there, but great horse.
And Jim, the early favourite for the series, Westburn Grant, now to 25 to 10.
Yes, been very heavily supported tonight. I think punters are rallying behind him, and he's the clear-cut favourite in betting at the moment.
Very quickly, your tip, Jim?
Mine is still Rockley Victory. He's going to need that bit of luck, but that's all I like.
Thank you, Jim. So, David, it should be an excellent race.
So a buzz of excitement in the betting ring with Mark Aston and Jim Easton looking at the grand final market. Well, now to the starting lineup, And the barrier draw is determined on lifetime stakes money earned before the series started. So it's a preferential draw situation. And some of the fancied horses on the front row: number 2, We Own a Chief, 6, Whitby Timer, and 7, Gaelic Skipper from New Zealand. And pacing from the inside of the back row, 9, Rockley Victory, and Full Rate and Westburn Grant will pace from barriers 11 and 12. And for his call of the 1990 Interdominion Grand Final, here's George Grilisic.
This great field is assembling over near the starting point for the running of this Interdominion Grand Final, with the first prize of $260,000 and of course the glamour of being rated the Interdominion champion. A big crowd here at Globe Derby. There's number 1, All a Dream, with Trevor Warwick and the sulky. This is an up-and-coming 4-year-old from Western Australia. When it comes to assessing horses' chances in big races, there's no one better than Trevor Warwick.
And my interpretation of them is the fact